All right, I got an update on some of the projects I'm working on. I've ground off the handle and the hinges on this. And this, if you remember from the earlier video, this is going to be a grate for the window in the garage. So I'm going to get it sandblasted, cleaned up. We'll prime it, paint it. I'll weld some tabs on the ends of it, and it'll bolt into the window frame on the outside of the garage window. All right, so this is the old fence gate that I've turned into a window grate, if you will, security gate. So I actually made these mounts out of some I'll show you. I made them out of this here. So this is an old brace for the fence post, and basically what I did was I just cut about a 3-inch piece off. I drilled a hole in the middle of it, and then I cut the top off for clearance for the socket. Painted it on both sides. I'm letting it dry on this side now. This is the color that Marisa picked out, so it's going to kind of sort of match. I fitted it yesterday in the window. It fits really tight, which is good, so I'm going to jam it in there, move it where I want it, and then I've got to drill the holes and get it seated in to the concrete. So, and then it'll be good to go. All right, I got my repurposed gate put in. It's all painted and 4 bolts holding it in. Plus you got to kind of bang it in with a rubber mallet to get it to fit. I even had to pull some of the brackets off a little bit. I don't know if you can see the gap there. I hated to do it, but I couldn't make it fit. You can see where I fitted it before, with the green paint, but she's right where I want her to be. It's tight. I think at the very least it's going to deter any burglaries for the few times a year that we actually go away and leave the house empty. That was the last vulnerable spot. So we'll see if it holds. All right, Randy here. I got some fires burning. I got a lot of irons in the fire today, if you will. So it's supposed to rain tomorrow, so I wanted to get rid of those piles of wood. And I had some used motor oil that would help me burn those big logs. All right, on to my main project. So if you recall, I repurposed this old farm gate and made a window grate out of it. I am going to, after thinking about it, I'm going to grind a little bit of the paint off of that. And I'm going to weld those bolts to the washer to the standoff, so that way nobody can unbolt it. They'll have to make a lot of noise with a grinder. And then I decided I'm going to go ahead and do the same with this window, but I've got to make this one. So I kind of figured that 2 people could probably break through the glass and get over through the door. So I'm going to put a grate up here, and that should prevent that. But this one's raw, so I went to my local steel retailer, and STEEL, not the chainsaw brand, and I bought some steel for a couple of projects, but this bar stock here, this is going to be the bars, and then I'm going to use the angle iron, which is at the bottom of this. I got to get it all out. The angle iron here for the frame. This tube steel goes for my welding table that I'm working on, and it's slow going because it's killing my back trying to weld this back together again. So I got to do a little bit at a time each day that I can. So all right, we're gonna get started on this. I'm gonna cut the angle iron down first. And then I'm gonna mark out where I want my rods. I'm gonna cut my rods to length, and I'll weld them in. And I'm gonna cut some brackets to bolt it to to the frame outside, and I'll get it all painted and we'll get it up. May not be today, but you'll be watching the video, so it'll be finished at the end of the video. All right, we've got to measure it again. I just want to make sure that I'm going to fit. It's got to go in the concrete. So we're right at 120. Let's call it 100, 119. 119. And I need 40, let's do 42 centimeters. 119 centimeters across and 42 centimeters down. And I'm gonna space them 10 centimeters apart. Fun stuff. And I gotta do it on an angle. You see that? It's a little terrifying. I fell off a ladder when I was 21 years old. I fell off the first step from the bottom, second step from the bottom, I can't remember, and I shattered my ankle. So I have a little bit of ladder phobia. All right, we've got our measurement. Let me make sure my camera's here. Is that good? Okay, I got my measurement, 119 centimeters. I'm gonna cut it. Safety first. One. You go the other way. Okay. One thing about getting older, you can't see. Yeah, I gotta go back this way a little bit. Okay. There we go. All right. There's two. And that's cut. So we can do the bar next. Maybe. So these are my original plan. I did them 40 centimeters. not 42. But I'm going to do 42 because I want it to be a little bit longer. As you can see, I'm not in my full garage, not in my big garage. All right, you get the idea. Let me save my battery. I'm gonna cut 11 of those, I believe, and now I've got a gauge to do it. It'll go faster. All right, so I have everything cut, and now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna tack on these outside bars, and then I'm gonna square this thing up. Let's see, I'm gonna pop this off. Okay, so I've tacked in the two outside bars where I want them, and we gotta check the square to make sure this is squared up, because otherwise you don't want it racked. You don't want it like off to one side. So the way you check square, you go corner to corner. So we're at 126.5 centimeters here, and we should be corner to corner 126.5 centimeters there. So this is all squared up, and now what I'm going to do is weld in. I'm going to weld in all the rest of the bars, and I'll show you when I get done. All right, fun stuff. So I welded this one up, and I went over to do this one, and I started here, and all of a sudden my whole thing caught fire. Smoke was pouring out of the switch, and it just kept feeding the wire, so I had to shut it off. Apparently it's got a short in the switch somewhere, and it got too hot. And so this is Amazon, dirt cheap. This was on sale when I got it. Like I said in my other video, I worked as a fabricator when I was in my 20s. I can weld with anything, and this thing, you know, I knew was cheap, and it really puts out some really not pretty welds, but it was fine for what I needed it. I think I got it for 60 euros. It was really it was cheap. It was on sale, like I said. So I've written them, but I've got to order a different MIG welder. I think I'll step it up a bit. So I could probably finish this with stick, because this does have a stick weld capability, but I have to go get some rod, and it's not going to be as pretty. I tried to stick weld with this, and it really isn't that good. So anyway, now we wait. So I wrote to the sales company for this welder, and they got back to me pretty quick, and basically just told me to take this off, and they're going to send me a new one. I don't know if you can see this in the camera or not. Let's see if we can get up on there. See how it just melted. And when I saw the thing running, I just dropped the stinger, because I know that, you know, after welding for all the years I did in my 20s, it doesn't take much to get a shock, and nobody wants to take 220 volts. So the switch was smoking. There was smoke coming out of the whole thing. So don't know what happened, and it's just cheap equipment. They're gonna send me a new one. I went ahead and bought another. I've ordered another welding machine. Should be here tomorrow, so I can finish doing the bar tomorrow. So I guess I'll have two of them. This one's not a bad little machine. It's nice and portable. It's light. It works really good for the light stuff. It just seemed like today with me going a little heavier, because I hadn't had it higher than 90 amps, and it's a 145 amp machine. You can see MIG 145, but I had it at 105 amps today because I was welding a little bit thicker stuff. And you can see it still really wasn't, it was splattering a lot, and it's been doing this the past couple of times I've been welding. It's been splattering a lot, and the welds aren't really seating very deep, no matter what setting I put it on for the material. So I had a feeling there was something going on with it, but I just chopped it up to a cheap machine, cheap Chinese machine. So all right, well, we're on hold until we get the new machine, or I get the replacement part first, whichever happens first. All right, so I got started this morning early, and I got this finally finished up. Everything is welded. It's still hot, still fresh, but okay, so I've got to touch up the welds, clean them up, see if there's anything that needs to be touched up or fixed, and then I've got to put the mounting brackets on it. So I've got to measure those, but I got to get this thing to cool down, get it cleaned up. I'll put it up there where it belongs. I'll see where the brackets need to go and make some mounting brackets for it. All right, so like I showed you before, this is finished. I'm trying to figure out the brackets. So what I had done, let me see. This is a leftover angle that I had from making this, and I had calculated, I thought, that I was going to have enough to cut that little thing into 4 pieces and make four little brackets that would be like, 35 millimeters or so, like this one here. I'm like 8 millimeters short, so I don't know if they cut the thing short, because I honestly didn't measure it when because I knew I had extra, and so I don't know if they did it short or if I just mismathed. Anyway, so then I had these, and I got these are stainless steel, and I got them for my welding table, which I'm working on. It's another project, because they're going to be welded, and stainless steel is hard, and so I thought maybe I could drill through it if I turned the drill speed down and I kept it nice and oiled, but it didn't even make a dent in it. I sharpened the bits again, and it's still nothing. So I went back to the hardware store. I got some regular steel brackets, not stainless, as you can see the difference. And now I've got to decide how. So I can put them in like this, or I can, or up top on the welds on the outside. I think it would look better on the inside. or I can do it like this as well. It's just a subtle difference on where it's at. I'm thinking on the inside, and I can get to that with the bolt. So, and then I got different inserts. They're a little bit smaller, but this thing's not as heavy as the other gate. So these will go in. This is a, what is this, 10 millimeters? So this is, you know, roughly 10 millimeters, and this will go in on its own, and then I've got the smaller bolt that I can put in from the back. So I've got enough room to get the bolt in and thread it. So I think I'm going to do the hidden brackets, and then I'm going to go in, like I said in another video early on, I'm going to go back. I'm going to tack weld the bolt, the washer, to everything. So it's going to make it really difficult. Somebody just can't unbolt it and then break the window and come in, assuming we're gone, which is very, very rarely at this point. So, all right, I'll show you when I get it done. So I have the thing all painted, it's ready to go. Brackets are in. I just have to get it mounted, and I will do that another day. If you see this video, it'll be mounted and done. But little home improvement stuff. I finished the grate a while back, and I finally got it installed today. And then while I was at it, I put in a motion sensing light, so we can have a light at night and during the day even, I guess. If you walk, move, it'll go. So it works. It's really dark back here, so that's gonna help.